Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to show you how to shoot position. This is probably a real good place to start right here, but basically what you do is try to get all of these shoots detached from one another. Then I lift them up like this, failed bird nest there, and if the shoot originates on the other side of the wire, I gently get it over there so it goes in its own lane and kind of dig down in here. I'll mount this on my head and go through a bit of this for you. What you want to do is get rid of this tangle. You need to get all of the shoots. See this right here? We have 1, 2, 3 shoots, and they're all connected to each other with tendrils. I don't have a free hand, so I'll try to do it this way. But you got to disconnect that. Hopefully I won't break anything. You run the risk of breaking these shoots when you do this, but it's not a real big loss. There's plenty of shoots here, so if you break a few, not a big deal. Yeah, this is kind of hard to do with one hand. There we go. So now that one's separated out. Get these two separated out. And once they are separated out, if it appears to be strong enough, they go back onto the catch wire like that. I'll go through, once I get all of this separated from each other, I'll go and push this all right up onto the catch wire and then trim everything on the bottom. Let me mount this on my head and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. This is an exceptionally dense vine, so this may take a while. See, this one comes from right here. So I'm going to bring it over to this side. A lot of this stuff like this is just a side shoot, and we don't need all that. That one's a regular shoot. That's a side shoot. The side shoots, I'll see if I can find one for you. You have your main shoots that come off of the spurs. You got your cordon that goes along the wire here. These are actually a little bit under the wire. Cordons go along the wire, and those have spurs coming down from it, and the main shoots come off of that, and any shoots that come off of those main shoots are side shoots, and you can either leave them on or take them off. Almost always you need to take them off eventually, because anything that protrudes out into the aisle you want to cut off. You want the aisle to be nice and clear so that the sun will hit the most of your vines. Yeah, this is an incredibly dense area. I'll probably thin this out more as time goes on. Next time I come through here, I might take more of this off, but for right now, I'm just trying to get these vines separated so that I can push them back to the wire. When I'm doing this, if I find any leaves that have like a yellow spot on them or any other sign that they may have a bit of decay or fungus, I cut those off and throw them in the aisle. I go back and clean all of this stuff up once I'm done. so none of it stays in the vineyard. Yeah, this is incredibly overgrown. This needs a decent thinning out, but that's not what I'm here to do today. Well, that's not my main task. Most of the vines do not look like this one. This one is crazy overgrown. So, you get that back onto the catch wire. Hopefully you're seeing this. I pushed it back over the catch wire. Here's a side shoot. They're just little skinny things that come off of the main shoots like that. And all they're gonna do is cause shade. All right, go back again with this big clump. And these two. All right. Now, get rid of a couple of these side shoots. Man, this vine is just totally loaded. The majority of the vines are not this overgrown. Yeah, there's a bunch of nests in here. They must have gave up on that one. It looks like the wind damaged it. Yeah, you don't want all these leaves buried inside like this. All that's going to do is cause fungus. I've separated a couple of these and found wet leaves, and you do not want that. All right, that's going to have to be good for now. Like I said, I'm going to go back and thin this out big time. Do a little bit right now. And then on a lot of these, I'm going to come back and do this later, the hedging, but just to show you a little bit of what that looks like. Now I have to go down to the end of the row and come back up the other side, and there's going to be stuff on the other side that has to be put down to the wire as well. That stuff right there, and I'll trim that off as well. You need to keep this area underneath the vine nice and clear. When you first do the shoot positioning, it's going to look like this with upside down leaves and stuff. By tomorrow, the majority of these leaves are going to turn towards the sun. I believe that's called senescence. They'll turn towards the sun, and it's going to look actually pretty nice in here. And this is basically how I want it. Right where the grass is, that's where I want the edge of the vine. And generally I can move through here pretty darn fast, but this first one takes a little bit longer. I'll have to come through here several times, and then after the last one I'll be putting a net over the top of this. That'll be in a month or so. Actually, a little more than a month. Alright, I'll show you a little bit more further down. This one right here is a bit more typical. You have these dead ones that have to be pulled out. That's caused by the wind. Then you have, 4 or 5, maybe 6 shoots that you gotta disconnect from each other, and they may not be long enough to get to the wire. These are just long enough, and then you can take the shorter ones and get them behind those. And this right here is not long enough to get to the wire yet, but once it's disconnected, the whole thing wants to lay down like this. So if I come in here in 2 days, this is going to be another foot longer, and I can just push this whole thing onto the wire. And this is what I was talking about. If you see a spot on a leaf, little yellow spot right there, just take the leaf off, and when I come back with the cleanup, I'll get that out of the vineyard. I'm just going to let these hang for a little bit and put them up to the wire when I get the other ones done. Yeah, this is a bit more typical right here. They're generally not as dense as the one I showed you just a bit ago. Usually you can pull this apart with your hands, but sometimes I gotta go in with the shears. Yeah, this one is coming from the plant over there. You can get shoots that, if you don't do this often enough, you can get a shoot that goes 2 or 3 plants down just running along the top. You don't want that. And if you don't disconnect all of these shoots from one another, I've said this before, but I'll say it again, it'll just create like a mat like it's doing now. But as soon as you disconnect them, they want to hang down, and then you can get them to go onto the catch wire. Some of these, like this one, is just growing straight up. Unfortunately, it had some nice berries on it, but it can't grow straight up like that. Hopefully those will hang down on the other side. There we go. And the next time I come through here, I'll take a bit more off and a bit more off until I just have, my goal is to have the flat face with just one depth of leaves. I don't want leaves on top of leaves because that does not do any good. If a leaf is completely behind another leaf, it's not getting any light and it's not doing any good. The only thing that's gonna happen with it is it's gonna get diseased. Yeah, I don't know if you're able to see when I go in there like that. I guess I'll find out when I'm editing this. Alright, those are too short to get to the wire. But now that they're disconnected, they're not going to hang way up here. They'll droop down and they'll be ready to put on the wire next time. Let's see if we can see where this one is coming from the other side. So disconnect it and flop it over the top and just leave it right there. Gravity will pull it down without breaking it at the end there. Got spots on that leaf too. I got to get in here and spray, but you don't want to spray while it's a big mess like this. It's a million times easier to spray when it's like this. I believe I did this row a couple days ago. Okay, it is early morning on day 3 of this shoot positioning. The only thing left to do is this side of this row and the same side in the last row. I couldn't do it last night because the sun was right in my eyes, and it's been in the mid-90s the last 2 days. So, wow, look at all this damage. This is all wind damage. That's why you need to leave some extra shoots on these things. So I'm going to start working on this row. I'll give you a little more footage and we'll wrap this video up. Okay, that's going to wrap it up. This right here, this is basically done. This is actually 2 steps. I generally go around and shoot position only, and then I come back and push everything to the wire and do a bit of hedging like this. Hedge the bottom and then cut off like these side shoots right here. So the last, I don't know, maybe the last 3 rows has a lot more done than the first 2 rows. I'll go show you the first 2 rows in just a minute. Places like this where it's just hanging, it's not quite long enough to push to the wire, so I'm letting gravity pull this down, and it's going to get much longer. Within a couple days, this will be plenty long to push onto the wire. I don't know if I'll be able to get in here then or not, but it'll be ready in a couple days. I'll probably do the hedging, push everything to the wire, and get everything hedged out in, oh, what would that be, 4 or 5 days. Tomorrow, I'm going to come in here and spray. This is probably my least favorite spray because everything is still into the aisle, it's not hedged, and there's just a lot to spray. Once I get everything done, oh, look at that cool bug. Once I get everything done, everything pushed down to the wire and trimmed and get the top cleaned up and everything, the spray goes a lot quicker. You just go up and down with a fan spray, and that's basically it. But this is kind of a mess. I'll have to spray out to here, and yeah, not easy, but it has to be done. This is the worst time of the year for disease in the vineyard. When it's in the 70s at night and humid, there'll be water on the leaves in the morning, especially leaves that are pushed back and are cupped up like that. They'll have a little puddle on them, and that's the easiest way to cause disease. It can't be helped other than to spray right now. But very soon, everything will look like this with the leaves vertical instead of horizontal. Look at all those grapes. You can see it better from down in here. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it, but there is just a bunch of grapes right here. This isn't a heavy vine right here. There's vines over there where it's just solid grapes under there. All right, this is the first row, and you can see I didn't push most of the stuff to the wire. A little bit I did, but the vast majority I didn't do any trimming or anything, kind of like this. This I pushed to the wire, but I didn't do any hedging. So I'll have a little more work to do on this row, but I've done a lot more work than I usually do for the shoot positioning. Getting tangled again. Yep, it's never ending. Okay, that's gonna wrap this up. And like I said, tomorrow I'll be coming through here and spraying. I'm gonna guess it's gonna take 3 tanks, 3 4-gallon tanks, but it may take 4. I'm gonna go spray the apple trees today, so got a lot of work to do today. Gotta pull these dead ones out. These are caused by wind, or possibly by my shoot positioning. When you're shoot positioning, occasionally you snap off a shoot like this. It's unfortunate, but it's something that happens. Yeah, this right here, you can see the wire is about 2 feet behind it. This is almost long enough to push onto the wire, but not quite yet. I'm gonna have to get in here and cut this grass real soon as well, before all this stuff grows out again. Okay, next video is spraying the first summer spray of the year. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.